Well, good morning, everybody. We're here to work through the Ashtanga sequence of sun salutations, standing poses, and some of the primary series and finishing postures as well. So we're going to begin with Surya Namaskar A. We're going to do five of those, and then 3 repetitions of Surya Namaskar B. So if you're at home, please join in, and we're going to begin standing with the feet together. We'll start by lifting and spreading out the toes, and then as you do that, let's try to ground the root of the big toe, the root of the small toe, and then you can just lay your toes back to the floor, and then also being aware of the inner edges of the heels and the outer edges of the heels. So we're going to ground those eight corners of the feet down into the floor. So let's begin with Surya Namaskar A. So I'm going to start to turn the thumbs out. We'll inhale the arms up over the head, gazing to the thumbs, and then with the exhalation, folding forward and placing the hands down, emptying the lungs. And with the inhalation, we'll lift the head, lengthening the spine. Exhale, step the feet back, and then lowering down into a push-up position. So keeping the legs active, pointing the toes, inhaling, lifting into upward dog or cobra, lifting the collarbones, and then exhale, we'll lift the hips up, and we're in the downward facing dog position. So in downward dog, you just want to make sure that you can ground your palms evenly, like you're embracing the earth. And spreading the fingers, grounding the tips of the fingers. And let's take one more breath in here. And then with the exhalation, we'll bend the knees and then stepping the feet or hopping the feet to the hands, inhaling and lengthening, looking forward. Exhale, folding forward. So draw your low belly in. And we'll lift the head, inhale and come up, and lift the arms, gazing up, exhaling and lowering the arms down. Okay, so let's try another one. Inhale the arms up, lifting the low back ribs. Exhale, folding. And inhale through the nose, lift the head, pull the shoulders back. Exhale, step or jump back, lowering into the push-up. And then inhaling upward dog or cobra. And with the exhalation, we'll lift the hips. And we're back to downward dog. So the hands, again, hands are about shoulder width apart. Feet can be hip width apart. If your legs are a bit stiff, you can have your feet a little wider than your hips. Allowing your toes to spread and even playing with lifting the toes off the floor and then gently press the heels towards the floor. Let's take another breath in. Exhale to bend the knees, looking forward, stepping or jumping. And inhale, lengthening the spine. Good, exhale, folding. Inhale, coming up, lifting the arms. And exhaling, we'll lower the arms down. Let's try another one. Inhale, arms up. Exhale through the nose, folding forward. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, taking the feet back, lowering into the push-up. Inhaling upward dog. So eventually you can start to take the head back, looking up. Exhaling, downward facing dog. And as you inhale, lift the sitting bones. Exhaling, grounding the hands and feet. And then as you try to lift your pubic bone, and draw it back and up, as well as the inner thighs drawing back and up. Okay, let's take another breath here. And exhale, we'll bend the knees. Let's step or jump the feet. Inhale and lengthening. Exhale, folding from the hips. Inhale to come up. Arms over the head. And exhaling. Let's do 2 more times. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Remember, you could bend the knees in these forward bends. Inhale, lift the head. And exhale, we'll step or jump back. Almost like you're pulling the floor to your chest. And then pointing the toes, inhaling upward dog. And exhaling, downward facing dog. So we're also trying to utilize what's called the Ujjayi breath. So it sounds like it's a soft, hollow, whispering sound that happens in the back of the throat and behind the sinuses. Let's take one more breath in. Exhale to bend the knees. Remember your options, stepping, hopping or jumping, inhaling and lengthening. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale to come up. Exhaling, arms down. And one more for the road. We'll inhale the arms up, gazing to the thumbs. And exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, head up. Exhale, we'll take the feet back. Keeping the legs strong. Inhaling, upward dog. Lift the inner thighs, shoulders back. And then exhaling, downward facing dog. So we're taking about 5 breaths or so here. That's 1. 2, and try to create an external rotation in the shoulders. So you get the inner upper arms to lift and the outer upper arms kind of dropping down and firming in towards the chin. Let's take another breath in. And exhale, bend the knees, pull the navel in, and then step or hop your feet. Inhale, lift the head. Exhale to fold. Inhale, coming up, lifting the arms. And exhaling, arms down. Okay, so we're going to practice Surya Namaskar B. So the first pose is bending the knees, and then we'll inhale the arms up. And then with the exhalation, folding from the hips, lowering the head. Inhale, lengthening the waist. Exhale, taking the feet back, just like a regular sun salutation. Inhaling, upward dog or cobra. And then exhaling, downward dog. So from here, we'll turn the left foot out about 45 degrees, step the right foot to the right thumb. Inhale, coming up. The sitting bones stay low. Exhaling, hands to floor. Let's step back into a high plank and then a push-up. And then inhaling, upward dog or cobra. Tail slides in. Exhale, lift the hips. Let's turn the right foot out and we'll step the left foot. And inhaling the arms up. So gazing up behind the thumbs. And then exhale, we come back to the floor. And then taking the push-up position. Inhaling, upward dog. And exhaling, downward dog. So here we stay for 5 breaths. If you're tired, you can come down onto the knees and come into the child's pose. So that's now 3, 4, and 5. So let's take the feet back to the hands. Inhale, head up. Exhale, forward bend. Bending the knees. Inhale, arms up over the head, looking up. And then exhale, we'll straighten the legs. Bending the knees. Inhale, arms up. Keep your toes spreading. And then exhale, keep the heels heavy as you lower the head. Inhale, lengthening the back, looking forward. Exhale, hands down. Step or jump, lower down. Inhaling, upward dog. And exhaling, downward dog. So let's pivot lunge and step the right foot to the right thumb. Inhale, come up, lift the arms. And exhale. Push up. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward facing. Pivot lunge, left foot steps forward, inhaling, arms up, tailbone down, exhaling, hands to the floor. Push-up position. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, lift your bottom up. And just looking at the tip of the nose, eventually you're looking towards the low belly. So this is called drishti, gazing. So as you keep the eyes steady and the breath steady, this helps to focus and clear the mind. So we'll take one more breath in here. Exhale to bend the knees, step or jump. Inhale, lengthening, and exhale, folding. Bending the knees, inhaling, Utkatasana, chair pose. And exhale, we'll straighten. Still exhaling as we bend the knees. This will be the last one. Inhaling. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, head up. Exhale, feet back. So push through the heels as you lower. Inhaling, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Then we'll turn the left foot out, step the right foot, inhale, lift the arms, gazing behind the thumbs. And exhaling, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, back. That's pivot lunge, left foot. Inhaling, lifting the arms, gazing up. And exhaling back to the floor. So push-up position. Inhale, keep the low belly toned. And then exhale, lift the hips. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Let's place the feet to the hands. Inhale, head up. And exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees, inhale, arms up. And exhaling, we'll lower the arms. Okay, so now we're going to move into the standing poses. So the first pose is a standing forward bend, and there's actually 2 versions. So we'll inhale, we'll separate the feet about hip width apart. We'll take a breath in here and we'll start to lift the heart looking up. And then with the exhalation, folding forward. Remember to bend the knees to start off. Grabbing your big toes. If they're not available, you can just bring your hands either behind your shins or maybe your elbows on your thighs. And we'll inhale, we'll lengthen the spine. And then exhale, start to fold forward here. So don't get in the habit of pushing the knees back. So you might want to just keep the back of the knees soft, and then focus on, as you ground your inner heels, lifting the inner sitting bones and the pubic bone upwards. Okay, so that's about 5 breaths here. And then with the inhalation, we'll lift the chest, head up, looking forward. Exhaling, Padahastasana, placing the hands under the feet. And with the inhalation again, lengthening the belly. Pull the shoulders back. Exhale, stay there, or start to round the spine as you fold into the legs. Steady breathing. Gazing at the tip of the nose. So the ears are open, listening to the sound of the breath. Just keeping the weight even between both feet. And with the inhalation, let's lift the head and chest, lengthen the back. Exhaling, the hands to the hips. And keeping your neck long, inhale, come up to standing. And then exhale, we'll bring the feet together. Okay, so we're going to just turn to the side now. We're going to work on the triangle pose. So we'll take the arms parallel to the floor. The right foot turns out 90 degrees. The left foot turns in about 20 degrees. So with the exhalation, we'll reach the right hand out. So keep pressing your feet down. Bring your hand to your shin, ankle, or grab your right big toe with the first two fingers. And then taking the left arm up. Exhale. Try to externally rotate your upper arms. So you get that outward rotation, the collarbones lifting, the tail going in. That's it. And then keeping focus on the breath. With the exhalation, we'll look down at the floor. And then inhale, come up. And then exhale, let's turn to the left. Take a breath in. Exhale, reaching out with your left hand. Reaching way out, place your hand down. And then inhale, we'll take the right arm up. And the right chest moving backward a little bit. And just carefully gazing up at your thumb. That's 3, 4, 5. With the inhalation, we'll come back up. Exhale, we're going to turn now. The left foot turns in a little more steeply, maybe about 45 degrees. The right leg will turn that out 90 degrees. So square the hips to the back of the mat. Inhaling the left arm up. Okay, keeping the hips square, reach your left hand out. As you reach out, keep the grounding of the right big toe mound. Bring your hand down, if you can, on the outside of the foot. If you have a block, you could put a block under your hand. And then pressing the outer forearm against the outer shin, start to turn the chest to the right, and then the right arm can float up. Again, try to create that external rotation in your arms. Yeah, so the collarbones are lifting. The outer right hip's going in and back. Exhale, looking at the floor. Inhale, come up like somebody were pulling your right arm. And then exhale, windmilling the arms to the left. Inhaling the right arm way up. And then exhale, reaching out, placing the hand down. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, hug your outer left hip in. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, pushing the right hand down. The outer right forearm can push against the outer left shin. So turning the chest to the left. Let's exhale, look at the floor. And then inhale, coming up. And then exhale, let's step the right foot to the left foot. So we'll just be creative with that. And let's turn to the right. Again, we'll take a wider stance. So we're going to set up into the warrior 2 position. Left foot turns in 20 degrees, approximately, right foot out 90 degrees. And we'll bend the right knee. So we set up into the warrior 2. And then Uttita Parshva Konasana, we reach the right hand out and placing the elbow on the thigh or the fingertips to the floor behind the foot. And then taking the left chest back, spin the left thumb out, and we'll take the left arm over. And just comfortably gazing up at your elbow. Exhale the tailbone in. And spread your toes. And then with the inhalation, we'll come back up. Exhale, turning to the left. Okay, bending the knee, take a breath in here. And then exhale, reaching your left arm out. Place the hand down or the elbow on the thigh. Inhale, we'll swing the right arm up and over. So again, we create that external rotation, right? And keep reaching through the fingertips like you're reaching to infinity above your head. Taking the tailbone in. And then inhale, we'll come up. Let's exhale, let's turn to the right. So let's start off with the left knee on the floor. We're going to inhale the left arm up. And then exhale, we'll just cross that arm around the outer leg. So if you can stay here, you can have your hands in a prayer position. You can also try to move your armpit closer to your knee. Okay, that might be the next phase, and then the left hand could go down, and then the left leg can straighten. And from there, you can lift the right arm up. Okay? The last option is to turn the left foot out about 45 degrees, and then taking the right arm over the ear. So you keep reaching through the fingertips. Good, and let's inhale, come up. And then exhale. Whoa, let's turn to the left. We'll place the left knee down. Inhaling the right arm up. So opening up the belly, exhale, we'll turn and place the hands in a prayer. Or working a little more deeply, if you're bringing the armpit to the knee, hand down, and then the right leg straightening. Okay, left arm option coming up. Yeah, externally rotate the arms. If you're trying the full pose, just take your time. Good. With the exhalation, looking down. And then inhale, come up. And exhale, let's step the right foot to the left foot. Okay, so inhale, let's turn to the right for Prasarita Padottanasana. This is the wide leg forward bend. Exhale, hands to hips. So inhale, chin up, looking up. Exhale, fold. Pull the low belly back, bring your hands to the floor. Inhale, lift the head. Exhale, folding forward. So eventually placing the crown of the head down. So taking the shoulder blades onto the back. Just gazing past the tip of the nose. And the shoulder blades moving towards the ceiling. Let's now inhale, we'll lift the head, look forward. Exhale, the hands to the hips. Inhale, come up. And exhaling. Let's inhale, the arms parallel to the floor. Exhale, hands around the hips. So this is the B position. We'll inhale, chin up. Open up the belly, and then as you exhale, folding. So taking the pubic bone back and up. Just gazing at the tip of the nose. And again, depressing the shoulder blades. Try to get out of the habit of letting your shoulders round forward, which is a theme in a lot of the forward bends. Okay, with your inhalation, let's come all the way up. And exhaling. C position, inhaling the arms parallel to the floor. And then exhale, we'll interlock the hands. Okay, take a breath in, lifting the gaze. Exhale, folding. Inhale, looking at the tip of the nose. And as you exhale, you could playfully move your inner upper arms away from the sides of your chest. Keeping the toes fanning wide out. Like you're hugging a large ball between your shins. 20% of your effort hugging that ball so your feet don't slide away from each other. And then with the inhalation, we'll come all the way up. And exhale, we'll bring the hands back to the hips. So let's do one more, the D position. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, folding. Wrapping the first two fingers around the big toes. Inhale, press your big toes down, lift your heart, pull the shoulders back again, and then exhale, folding forward. Almost like your armpits moving towards your belly button. And keeping the big toes firmly grounded and the fingers pulling gently on the big toes. That's 4. And 5. Let's inhale halfway up. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale all the way up. And exhaling samastitihi. So we'll come back to the front of the mat. Okay, so we'll do one more standing pose. We'll turn to the right. We'll take the arms behind the back. So we're going to set the hips up like we're doing the twisted triangle pose. So keeping the hips equidistant. And then taking the arms behind the back. Either make fists with your hands and put your knuckles together, or working your hands up one at a time and then placing your palms eventually together. So your fingers together, and then rolling the elbows back. We'll inhale, look up. Split the roots of the toes open. Exhaling and folding forward. Okay. And then you can just look at your right big toe. And if you're a little more flexible, you can work at bringing the chin or the forehead onto the shin bone, keeping the elbows lifting and rolling the shoulders back. And then with your inhalation, let's come all the way up to standing. And then exhale, we'll turn to the left. Okay, resetting with the inhalation, gazing up. Exhale, folding. Inhale and exhale. Inhale deeply and exhaling. Just being aware of the four corners of each foot. Inner and outer heels, big toe mound, small toe mound. So bolt those down with your exhalation. And then inhale, come up. And then exhale, we'll step the right foot forward. We'll release the hands away from the back. Back to Samastiti. Okay, so the next standing pose we'll do is a balance pose. So we're going to balance starting on the left leg. And there's many different ways of doing this. If you have a hard time standing on one leg, you can go near a wall with your back to the wall. Or you could simply bend your right knee and then put more weight in your left foot and then balance there. If you're ready, you can start to take the right knee up. If you lose your balance, bringing it back down. Okay, so that would be the first phase, is holding the knee. Second option here is wrapping the first two fingers of the right hand around the right big toe. Okay, so that could be your balance, and then eventually working at straightening the right leg. Okay, and trying to get your right shoulder back, just gazing at a non-moving point in front of you. And then with the exhalation, we'll start to take the right leg over to the right, so away from the midline, and then just gazing over the left shoulder. Again, watching the breath. So trying to take that outer right hip down towards the floor. Press the front of the left thigh back. Inhale back to the front. Exhale, if you want to, you could try to bow down to your leg. And then inhale, we'll lift the head back up. And then exhale, we'll bring the hand to the hip. So here is the fun part where we get to float the leg. If your leg is very heavy, you might want to hold it with your hands. Smiling is helpful. And then with the exhalation, we'll lower the right leg back down. Okay, so we get to do that on the other side. So we'll take the left knee, start to bend it, putting more weight into your right foot. Okay, that could be your balance, or if you're ready to take it all the way up, holding it with the hand, or hooking the first two fingers of the left hand around the big toe. And playfully working at straightening your left leg. Try not to round forward here. Try to get your shoulder back. Standing up nice and tall, pushing down into the right foot. Exhaling, creating a little external rotation in that left thigh. So the left sitting bone's dropping, the front of the right thigh is pressing back. And then maybe you're looking over to the horizon on the right-hand side. And then with the inhalation, we'll bring the leg back to the front. Option to bow down. Inhale, lift the head back up. And then exhale, we'll bring the hand to the hip, pointing the toes for 1. Don't forget to smile, it's 2. Lift your shin 19 inches. And then exhale, we'll lower the leg down. Okay, so standing on both feet. So from here, we're going to do a sun salutation, then we'll come down to sitting. So we'll spread the toes, we'll inhale the arms up, and exhale, folding forward. Inhale into the flat back, palms down, exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And then exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So from here, we're going to find a way to sit. So one way is you can try to walk your feet towards your hands, cross your legs, and then sitting down. And then we'll slide the feet through. Okay, so here if you are very tight in the hamstrings, you could sit up on a folded blanket. You could try taking the skin and the flesh from under your sitting bones and pulling that back and out to the sides. So you're basically trying to find the tips of the sitting bones. You could have your knees bent, so our pelvis is just in a neutral position. And then the hands can come down to the floor, fingertips or palms. Okay, and as you inhale, we'll lengthen from the pelvic floor all the way up through the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, you could play with sliding your feet out, straightening the legs, but we'll keep the heels on the floor. And then spreading the toes. Let's take one more breath here. Actually, last breath in. Now exhale, we can start to walk the hands out towards the feet. So you see how far you can go. If you can walk closer to the feet, then you can pick up the big toes with the first two fingers and the thumbs. Inhale, we'll lift the head. You can also put a belt around your feet, like Natalie's doing. Okay, and then lengthening up through the crown. With the exhalation, you can start to fold. And it's up to you how far you want to go. Try not to lift your shoulders into your head. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. So again, you get the armpits to move towards the belly button. Okay, and then we'll take another breath here. Inhaling into a flat back. And then the B position is hands on the floor or taking the sides of the feet. Inhale into a long spine, shoulders down again, and then exhale, folding here. So what I'm doing is I'm gently pulling the baby toe sides of my feet back, and I'm using the tips of my thumbs to push into the root of the big toes. So I'm trying to encourage the root of the big toes to move forward. It's going to deepen that inner spiral through the thighs. Helps to drop the pubic bone. Tailbone stays down. Okay, and then inhale, we'll lift up again. Now C position is repeating this position, or holding the belt, or trying to reach without pulling. And if you can do that, you can eventually grab one of your wrists around your feet. And this might take a few weeks of practice. You're taking the shoulders down again. So inhale, lengthen through the crown. And then as you exhale, folding forward. The inhalation will lift the head. And exhale, we'll release. And then come back to Dandasana. And we'll just walk the hands back about 8 inches or so. There's a few different versions of this pose. One is you could bend the knees, right? Placing your feet flat on the floor. You can keep your legs straight. And so as we exhale, we're going to pull the low belly back. We're going to start to slide the tail forward and up. The hips lift. So you might keep your feet flexed, and then from there, as you ground your fingertips, you could try to bring your feet so your toes point, your outer hips are lifting, and then the head can just lay back gently. Good, and then exhale, we'll lower down. Okay, so if you have energy and you want to try the jumping back, one way you can try this is crossing your legs, hugging your knees close together. And I like to keep my feet flexed here and then bring the hands in front and then hopping back into plank and then lowering down into a push-up. Inhaling upward dog. Exhaling downward dog. So you can try that stepping, or you could try hopping. And then bringing your feet through, eventually. I'm going to fast forward into a pose called Marityasana A. So I'm going to take the right heel towards the right sitting bone. I like to have about a hand space between the foot and the inner thigh. So you've got that space there. And you get the right heel as close in as you can. So you're actually squatting on your right foot. So with the inhalation, we'll take the right arm up. And this is where you could put a blanket under your bottom, just to give you a little mechanical advantage of eventually taking the right hand forward. So if you can take the hand forward here, I would work at taking the foot and then trying to get the elbow to come to the floor next. So if you can do that, you're ready to wrap this arm around the shin. And I'm going to internally rotate the arm, bend the elbow, and then take the left hand behind the back and take the wrist or the fingers there. Inhale, we'll lift the crown of the head, draw the right shoulder back. Okay, you can remain there, or you can exhale, begin to fold. Let's take a few breaths here. So that right arm is pushing back against the right shin. Inhaling, the head lifts back up, and then exhale, we'll release. And we'll just straighten that right leg. Let the blood rush back into the groin. We'll take the left heel back. So maybe try that hand, spread your fingers, put that between your foot and your thigh, squatting on your left foot. So the left foot and the right hand are grounding, inhaling the left arm up. You can even lift your bottom a little bit as you reach out. Then place the right sitting bone down. Okay, try to get the left elbow onto the floor. Then ready to bind. So the left arm is the wrapping arm. The wrapper is the grabber. In this case, the left hand grabbing the right wrist or the fingers. We'll inhale up through the crown. Take the armpits down. Try to keep the inner right thigh grounded. And with the exhalation, a little bit of practice, the head comes closer to the shin or the knee. And keeping the elbows going back and slightly up. Good. Inhale, we'll lift the head. And then exhale, releasing. Okay, so you can straighten the leg. If you want to try the jump back again, you can cross. Inhale, hands to the floor. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, jump. Bring the feet through. Take the right foot back. Same setup as A. Get that hand space between your foot and thigh. This time we'll bring the right hand back. Slide the left foot out a little bit. Inhale your left arm up. Exhale. There's a couple of options here. Is bending the left elbow. Try to get the armpit closer to the knee. Okay, now if you can get the armpit to the knee, you can try to straighten the left arm, internally rotate it, taking the fingers behind the back, possibly grabbing the right hand or the fingers. Inhale, lift the collarbones. Exhale, take the elbows back and down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twisting. Good, that's 4. 5. Inhale, looking to the front. And exhale, releasing. We'll straighten that right leg. And then we'll switch. Left foot back. Okay. Just check your feet, stay about hip width apart. Left hand goes back. So you could be just twisting here. You could just wrap the right arm around the outer leg. Lengthen the spine, inhaling. Exhaling, if you want to try to take the outer arm onto the outside of the knee, possibly taking the left hand to the right hand. And taking a few breaths. Yeah, try to roll the inner right thigh down. Exhale the pubic bone, towards the floor. Inhale, lift and broaden the front edges of your armpits. Exhale. Inhale, looking to the front. And exhale, releasing. Okay, let's straighten the leg. Okay, crossing the legs if you want to try the jump back again. Taking push-up position. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. And then we'll come through to sit. And then we'll lift the legs up into Navasana. Very popular pose. So you can do this by holding the backs of the knees, letting go, and eventually straightening the legs. Let's exhale, cross. Pull the knees in. Inhale, try to lift. Now, if it's hard, bring your feet down, lift your bottom off the floor. And exhale, we'll lower down. And then inhale, we'll lift back up into, we'll just do 3 of these today. Let's do. So just gazing at the toes. I like to point the toes, collarbones lifting. Exhale, change the crossing. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And one more time. It's 1. You can also grab the shins if this is hard. It's 3. And 4. Exhale, cross. Okay, and then bringing your feet back into a push-up. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhaling, back. So the thing that might help you jump is if you look just forward of your hands, bend your knees, and then think forward as you cross the legs. Okay, and you can just go that far and then bring your legs through. Okay, so let's open the legs for another classic forward bend. So here, you could put a towel under or a blanket under your sitting bones. You can open your legs anywhere from, say, 90 to 120 degrees. I'd like to slide forward just a little bit so that action allows the skin and the flesh to be pulled back through friction. Okay, so I would just practice sitting up here. If you're trying to go forward and you're here, it's better to be here, get the low back to go up and in, and the chest to lift. And if you're comfortable sitting up straight, you can walk the hands out towards the feet. Inhaling again will lengthen. And then with the exhalation, you can begin to fold. And again, rolling the armpits back. Keeping the legs active. So I'll try to keep the quadricep muscles, the thigh muscles contracted. Good, and then inhale, we'll lift up halfway. Exhale, releasing. You could bend the knees. So you could try this. You can try grabbing the big toes. Inhale, lift the collarbones. And you could do maybe just your left leg lifting part way. Right? And then lowering that down and try the other leg, right leg. Right? And then lowering and then eventually taking both feet off the floor. So you're balancing and then starting to open the feet out. And then taking the shoulders down again, lift the heart, and then take the head back, looking up at the sky. Yes, allow the heart to shine bright, like you're illuminating the sky. And armpits down. Good, create resistance with your toes, pull on your toes with your fingers. And then exhale, we'll cross. Inhale, you could take the feet back. Plank, and then exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. And then let's step or jump. And we'll lie down. We're going to practice now some of the finishing postures. Okay, so we'll go right into it. So start by bending the knees. Feet are hip-width apart. Knees hip-width apart. Okay, so I'll just show you, this is called Setu Bandha Sharvangasana. So we'll just keep the arms by the sides. With the exhalation, we'll start to lift the tailbone. Think of the outer hips going straight up, straight up. Try not to let the knees flop out. Keep your knees contained. Ground the inner edges of your heels a bit more and the roots of your big toes. So the outer hips go up. Option to interlock your hands. You roll one elbow in, the other elbow in towards the middle of the mat, stretching the knuckles towards the feet and grounding the outer upper arms. So you're getting again, the outer hips are going up, the chest lifting. And exhale, we'll lower down. Okay, so you can repeat that over and over again. The next pose is called Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow. This is where we keep the feet where they are, and then we just place the hands on the floor next to the head. I've got the fingers pointing towards the shoulders. Now try to keep your elbows contained. Try not to let them wing out. So as you ground the index finger and thumb, firm the sides of the upper arms in. Exhale, take the shoulder blades down. Start to lift the tailbone. Now to make this a little easier, you can try lifting your heels. Lift the hips. Push the hands down, and you can just try to slide the head back into a tripod headstand position. Right? From there, if you have the strength, you can try to lift the head away from the floor. And then exhale, we'll come back down. Okay, bring the head and shoulders back to the floor. Okay, so we'll do one more. So if you find that too overwhelming, just repeat the first version. Okay, last one. We'll exhale, start to lift the tail. Inhale, come up into the back bend. And exhale, we'll come down. Okay. You start to hug the knees in. Rocking from side to side, any movement that feels good. Okay, either roll over to your right side or carefully rock up into a seated position. Okay, again, you could sit up on a blanket. You could use a belt for this one. When I used to practice this years ago, I would have to bend my knees. So I'll show you how I used to practice the forward bend, is just hugging the arms around the backs of the knees. And then taking a breath in, really opening up the belly. And as you exhale, you can start to hug the legs. So you get your rib cage to your thighs, just soften the neck. And from there, you can start to slide the feet out very, very slowly and patiently. Now, if you can do that to a point where you keep the ribs touching the thighs, the elbows might come to the floor next, right? And then keep your shoulders relaxed. Now, if you're very happy and comfortable with that, hands to feet, knees are still bent. And then eventually the legs get a little straighter and the head can fall into the legs. Inhale into a flat back, and exhale. We'll come back up. Let's lie down into a stiff corpse pose. Okay, we'll take a break here. So take about 5 deep breaths. Okay, so the next pose that we're going to work on is the shoulder stand. If you have never done shoulder stand before, I would not recommend doing it without the guidance of a teacher. You could go over to a wall And just place your legs up against the wall, or you could put your legs on a chair. So imagine I have a chair here and your shins are resting on a chair seat, something like that. Okay, otherwise what we'll do from shoulder stand, as we exhale, we start to lift the legs together. Inhaling, lifting the hips. And eventually you take the legs behind the head. And my voice is going to sound a little funny because of the position I'm in. And then interlacing the fingers, we try to lift the inner thighs and the outer hips. So we want the weight on the outer shoulders and some weight in the elbows. So the seventh cervical, it's a large vertebra at the base of the neck, should not be pressing into the floor. Okay, if it is, come out. And then from here, you can try to lift the legs up, bend the elbows, bring the hands either to the back of the hips. This is called the candle. So I've got more weight in the elbows. And eventually I'm trying to get the chest to go closer to the chin and the hands coming up to the back of the rib cage. So I'm now trying to take my legs a little more vertical. And again, you don't want the seventh cervical, the large vertebra at the base of the neck, to be, you don't want a lot of pressure on that. So you might need to modify the pose by putting a blanket under your shoulders and under your elbows. So we're going to hold this for about an hour. And I'm kidding. We're going to exhale, we're going to bend the hips. So from here, we'll just go back to halasana, the plow. So the feet go back, and then we'll just straighten the arms, interlace the fingers again. And let's take a few breaths there. If you're uncomfortable, come out of the pose. Okay, so let's... And we're going to slowly release the hands. You can try to lift your legs up. And then exhale, we'll start to roll each vertebra of the spine to the floor. You notice how my legs start to move closer towards the chest. Okay, so then as I get my low back and the hips to the floor, then you can try to keep your legs together, and I'm squeezing my shins together. Okay, I'm going to slowly lower down. Okay, once my feet arrive to the floor, I'm going to practice the fish Matsyasana. So I just slide the thumbs under the hips. Keep the legs straight, and as I press the elbows down, I'm going to lift the head and chest. Like I'm pulling back with my elbows, I'm going to slide my feet forward a few inches. Then lift the chest. Okay, you can stay there, or start to arch back and bring the crown or the back where the crown meets the back of the head. And then from there you can turn the thumbs out with the palms face up. Good pose to practice to prepare you for back bending postures. So to come out, you press the elbows down, lift the head, look towards the feet. Exhale, we'll start to roll down, and we're actually going to stop here. So we'll just start to open the feet. You can go hip width apart, a little bit wider. Let your feet you can kind of flop your feet in and out. Any movement that you'd like to make there. Just relax the legs. Turn the thumbs outwards so the palms face up, rolling the shoulders under. Okay, just making sure that you're comfortable. Your head is neither turned to the right nor to the left. Okay, and then you can start to close your eyes. We're just going to try to remain still for at least 7 minutes if you can. So if you're watching the video and you want to pause the video now and put a timer on, do 7 minutes or as long as you like. And just allowing your belly to rise and fall with each breath. So to come out, you could begin to bring your knees in. Okay, and you could just start to hug the knees in, and if you want to rock from side to side, back and forth. And then gently roll over onto your right side. You could sweep your right arm under your right ear. And then placing your left hand on the floor just in front of your chest, start to push down into the floor with your left hand. So your head comes up last, and you're just coming up into a seated position. And I'd like to thank my friends here for joining me today in this practice. We're going to end the practice with an offering of peace. So if you'd like to take this time to dedicate your practice to somebody or direct it elsewhere, we'll begin by closing the eyes. So setting that intention. Exhale to empty the lungs. Let's begin with the breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon or morning or evening, wherever you are.